Good morning, good morning, do 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 do. Good morning to you. Welcome to a daily dose of joy. We come here in solidarity, choosing joy and choosing applied neuroscience to dose our brains with positive neurotransmitters, creating a default state in our brain that seeks out joy. And today we're going to use one of the microdosing tools that is a favorite of mine called the Woopsie Daisy story. And not only does it help us create dose chemistry in our brain, but it helps lay down new neural pathways in how we respond to things. Instead of with tension and vigilance and stress, responding with humor, responding with lightness. And I was thinking of things that stress people out, right? And if you don't know where your cell phone is, that can get people's heads spinning. So I thought I would share some Whoopsie Daisy stories about misplaced iPhones. And I have two personal stories that are tart choppers. Tart toppers in my book. Okay, so right on the part of the Whoopsie Daisy storytelling is go ahead and laugh, just as though it was a laughter flow. Let yourself get that giggle box going. So I, a couple of years ago, had an amazing invitation to go to France and Greece. And this tale takes place on the airplane flight at the early, red eye almost. Maybe it wasn't officially a red eye, very early flight from Paris to Heraklion, Crete. So the island of Crete, the capital Heraklion, we're flying into. And this is the nonstop flight from Paris to Heraklion. I mean, Casablanca kind of feel into that, right? Just those words. And I'm having so much fun on the plane. So excited to be there. Have my phone out and I'm playing some word games. And then we land, and as you're landing, you see the sunlight, that white, hot, clear sun glinting off the ocean. Oh, so beautiful. I'm so excited. And for this whole trip, I have a tiny little, small kind of purse-sized backpack and a little piece of roll-on luggage, carry-on. So packing light, traveling easy. But when you get on and off the plane, there's the fumble of get everything back in the backpack and get the roller thing down and make your way out. And so we did, and we're rolling through the airport, and I'm like, let me take this backpack off, put it on my wheelie thing and wheel them together. And when I do, I realize that the pocket at the top is missing its familiar rectangular bulge. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've left my cell phone on the airplane, and it has everything. It has our maps of Greece. It has our confirmations for Airbnbs. It's got everything. And I'm like, oh no. It feels like an appendage. How could I leave my arm on the plane? How did I get off the plane without my cell phone? And so I felt like chariots of fire, running through the airport, hoping it hasn't left the gate yet. And I go running back to the airplane. And at about the same time that I hit full stride, I see this beautiful Greek stewardess doing a similar chariots of fire dynamic run through the airport, except she's also doing this overhead. And she's screaming things in Greek I can't understand. But you would think that she was carrying, that I had left my arm. It was like she had this appendage, and she is she is running to reacquaint the appendage with the owner before the heartbeat, before the pulse stops. This is life or death. She is full tilt. She's screaming and speaking in Greek and flinging her arm over her head with my cell phone in it. Oh my God. get closer, She's speaking Greek. The only Greek word I know so far is thank you. So it's like, Sasa Fristo. And meanwhile, you're not supposed to abandon your luggage. I've got my luggage, my backpack is all the way back there. But I'm going for that cell phone. Sasa Fristo. Thank you. She gives me my phone. I'm reunited with my body parts. And all is well. But it was, and then she and I, by the time we got to each other, we were both laughing. And she's probably laughing like, Sasa Fristo. Who knows, I was even a quarter of the way pronouncing that correctly. But we were both just kind of kneeled over, panting, laughing. Like, whoopsie daisy. Going to Greece, you need all your appendages. Okay, so then that made me think of another time that I lost my phone that felt harrowing. And it was down at the farm. So, at least in an airport, you can like retrace your steps. But if you've been out wandering in the woods on a ramble, meandering down through the Ferndale, up over the Shagbark Ridge, and, where is that cell phone when you lose it? Like, it apparently took a swan dive out of my back pocket somewhere along the way after about a 2-hour ramble in the woods. And I get back and realize, oh, my back pocket is a little thinner than normal. and it wasn't the workout. It was like, where is it? And at the time I was down there, we actually didn't get all the way back. We got down to the river. And I was sort of the hostess, so I had been the one who brought her phone, but everybody else had left, like, let's get off the grid, left their phones back at the house. So no one has a phone. Because typically you'd think I'd have them do like Find My Phone, or I'd pull up Find My Phone on there, because I've actually done this twice at the farm. So the first time I used to Find My Phone, and it was like zippity-doo-dah, right back to the phone. But this time we didn't have that fancy feature. So I come up with a clever way of finding my phone. But it would give you a little backstory. And that's on, because as this was happening, I thought back of my grandmother. And I thought, oh my God, she would never lose a phone in the woods. Because one thing, the cord wouldn't reach that far. But also, like, if she was looking for something in the woods, it probably would have been a dog, like a hound. And she never would be out there with technological instruments. I mean, back in the day, the farm didn't have electricity, no AC. When I head up into the woods, I have my cell phone. I'm like looking for geolocation points to map things out. She would have had a sling blade, it's like a hoe that has a blade on either side, and it would be used to clear the brambles out of the trail. So to get the smilax and the blackberry briars, so that she could get through the woods. Well, I'm out there with a piece of technology, and I was thinking about what she would have been calling in the woods. And she would have been calling, well, give a little backstory on this. My granddad went to the boys' school in Atlanta, which was, back in the day, a Latin education, a classical education. So it made a little bit of sense that when he was down on the farm and the big hound had a litter of puppies and they were naming them, that some of them were named with the names of Roman senators, these very Latinate names. But then some of them were named like just country names, just country hound dog names. But my grandmother and my grandfather, and I think a generation or two before them, had a similar call, but we have a hound call, or how you call the dogs. And so that's what she'd be out calling in the woods. So she'd be out there going, Cero, Nero, Bam Bam Bappy, Bam Bam Booey, woo-wee! And I love that call. I used to call the kids with that one, Cero, Nero, Bam Bam Bappy, Bam Bam Booey, woo-wee! But guess what I was calling on this day when I had my cell phone, whoopsie daisy? hey, Siri. Really, I'm walking through the woods going, hey, Siri. And I found my phone. I finally got close enough where she answered. She's like, what can I do for you? Go trundling through the underbrush in a big mushroom leaf pile, dig out Siri and my cell phone. But whoopsie daisy, they're not meant to be hidden in the woods. Oh, yeah, and it was I told my friends those stories, and we had a lot of laughs walking through the woods going, hey, Siri, deep in the woods. Woo. So whoopsie daisy stories are a gift, a way of refocusing on things that might create stress and distress and turning them into humor and lightness. And you'll find the more you do it, the easier it comes. Well, let's take 3 gentle breaths. Thank you for spending this time with me this morning. I hope today surprises and delights us.